Hello there, my very good friends. Andy Murray here for What Culture Wrestling, and with the Royal Rumble 2020 going down this very weekend, it's time for a nice little chat about surprise entrants. Surprises are the lifeblood of the Royal Rumble. When they underwhelm, the match itself tends to underwhelm as well. But on the other side, if you throw a couple of awesome surprises in there, there's a good chance the match itself is going to be awesome, particularly when WWE pick the right men and women for the spots. And the good news is that this year brings plenty of scope for surprises, because in the men's match we've still got 8 free spots at the time of recording, and in the women's match it's wide open. They've only announced 4 wrestlers so far, and that means 26 free spots. Now, obviously, a lot of these spots, particularly in the women's matches, will be filled with full-time wrestlers from Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, so for the purpose of this video, we're just going to ignore those, because where's the fun in calling somebody who's a full-time roster member a surprise? Doesn't make any goddamn sense. Instead, we're going to stick to wrestlers who just haven't been around in a while. And while their absences will vary from wrestler to wrestler as I go through this, I think each and every single one of them would get a good pop if they showed up on Sunday night. And I'm going to kick things off by cheating on the very first entry, because I'm not too sure that this guy still qualifies as a surprise after telling the media last week that he's definitely going to be in the Royal Rumble and he had big plans when he enters the match. It's Cain Velasquez. We haven't seen the former UFC heavyweight champion since Brock Lesnar kicked his ass at Saudi Arabia back in October. Now, I know we're all going into this Rumble thinking, who's going to eliminate Brock? Who's going to get the WrestleMania match? Is it someone like Drew McIntyre? Maybe Ricochet after this week's Raw? But if we're all being honest with ourselves, it's probably Kane. And until WWE actually announced the guy, I think Velasquez just about qualifies as a surprise entrant. But with him out the way, let's get on with the list proper. At number 10, it's Kane, and not Mexican Kane, the other Kane. You know, Demon Kane, Big Red Machine Kane, Concessions Kane, Corporate Kane, Fake Diesel, Daniel Bryan's big mate. This guy. Kane, of course, returned on last week's SmackDown, and he couldn't have made his Royal Rumble foreshadowing any more obvious if he tried, going out of his way to note his history in the match and teasing a big appearance. On top of this, PW Insider are reporting that Kane is going to be in the house on Sunday night. Now, he could well just be cornering Daniel Bryan in his match with Bray Wyatt, but I reckon a Rumble run might be on the cards as well. With Trish Stratus retiring after losing to Charlotte Flair at SummerSlam 2019, that era of women's wrestling has no better representative than Lita. And she's done it before in recent years, so why the hell not? Lita could definitely get a decent run in the Royal Rumble, and as always, it'd just be really cool to see her mixing it up with the stars of today and tomorrow, particularly as she's looked quite decent in her recent WWE appearances. Another one for the women's match here, as Ruby Riott has been on the sideline since May 2019. She underwent severe shoulder surgery on one side and then 3 months later had to get the exact same operation on the other shoulder. That's nasty, but she's on the mend. The good news coming out of Camp Ruby at the moment is that she's back in training, having been spotted at the Performance Center where she was supposedly working out with Rachel Evers. Now, of course, that doesn't guarantee that she's good to go in a proper match like the Royal Rumble, but it's a very good sign indeed. And I don't think it'll be too long before we see this underutilized star back on our TV. This one just seems like such an easy shout, doesn't it? I mean, Beth's already at Full Sail University every single Wednesday night doing commentary for NXT TV, so if she's available and she's up for it, you've got to think that WWE have already booked her for Sunday night. Watching the Glamazon going at it with all kinds of current wrestlers, including NXT stars, the people she talks about on air every single week, would be quite the sight on Sunday night. And she hasn't looked out of place at all on the few occasions she's returned to the ring over the past couple of years. With all this talk of WWE seemingly planning a big match for John Cena at WrestleMania 36, the Royal Rumble just seems like the best place to set that off. You can have a younger wrestler come in, throw him over the top in a scalp-taking moment, and build from there. Now, of course, it's been a while since we've seen Cena on television, and he hasn't actually wrestled since January 2019, but he's also John Cena. He's one of the biggest stars in WWE history, and there's no way the company would let something like ring rust get in the way of throwing him in the Rumble. And hey, it's something I'd just like to see, particularly if it results in some kind of torch-passing match at WrestleMania with a younger, hungrier opponent. It looks like Nia is finally on her way back to WWE television after uploading several images to her Instagram story showing her filming content for what looked like some kind of documentary, given that she was sitting in a WWE ring. We might be putting 2 and 2 together to get 5, but it does make a lot of sense because we know WWE love producing 24s and 365s for the network whenever someone comes back from long-term injury, and Nia, as things stand, has been out for 9 months. Q1 2020 was always put forth as her likeliest return date, and just so happens there's a Royal Rumble round the corner, so hey, why not? Jax was certainly very busy in 2019 when she not only entered the women's match, but entered the men's match after killing R-Truth as well, and well, that probably doesn't need to happen again. A little monster run in the women's match will probably suffice. If WWE do intend to book Goldberg as this badass old man John Wayne character who shows up every now and then, kicks someone's ass and then buggers off, then, well, the Royal Rumble's kind of perfect for that. It's a great way to bring Big Bad Bill back into the fold, and if he's been training and he's ready, it could be pretty awesome. And I think we all know the obvious spot here. It's Goldberg, it's Matt Riddle, it's a showdown. It's either one guy eliminating the other or them both going over the top rope at the same time, setting up to something bigger down the line. At this stage, it feels like the duo have been taking shots at each other forever. Riddle just won't shut up on social media, so no matter what WWE's plans are for these two, it just seems like a really easy and obvious thing for them to put together. Or maybe they'll just have Goldberg come in and throw, I don't know, Dolph Ziggler out of the ring in like 5 seconds. I think that would make a pretty cool Santino Marella, Warlord, Bushwhacker Luke type spot, but you never know. Paige is comfortably the most contentious name on this list because we all know her medical situation and we all know the circumstances that forced her to retire. If she is going to wrestle again, it'll be a big thing, and we haven't really heard any medical news to suggest that that neck is actually ready to go yet. But there have been all kinds of teases all over the place over the past few months surrounding Paige in the Royal Rumble. There was even that report that said it was a deadlock that she'd be appearing. Now again, these aren't guarantees, but you know, maybe there's a little fire to this smoke. With those reports came denials, but of course they did. Of course people were going to deny reports like this because you don't want to spoil a big surprise. And yeah, well, I do admit the odds of Paige appearing in the Royal Rumble are quite slim. Hey, let's roll with it anyway. It'd be really good. Now, Lord knows what kind of Rumble Paige could actually have, but if she's been medically cleared, if the experts have given her the okay, then why not do something big with her? It doesn't necessarily mean winning. She certainly doesn't need to take the match, but if she's going to come back, it should be huge. This is another very contentious entry that depends on medical clearance, but we have heard so many reports over the past few weeks and months, and so many hints and so many signs that the Rated R superstar is indeed on his way back to the ring. Now, nobody should take these reports as Edge is going to return full time because there's a snowball's chance in hell of that happening, but this guy's running around. He's going to Pittsburgh, which is where WWE's medical team are. He's signing a new contract with the company. He's participating in physical spots at SummerSlam 2019. And I mean, come on. CM Punk aside, and I definitely don't think that one's happening anymore, Edge is comfortably the biggest name that WWE could pull off for a return in the Men's Royal Rumble. And Jesus Christ, imagine the pop. And besides, he wouldn't even need to do a whole lot in that match either. The guy is so beloved. He could just turn up, hit a couple of signature moves, spear someone out of their boots, and then leave. His role fulfilled. And again, the man himself has ruled out any form of participation. But again, like I said with Paige, of course he has. He's not just going to go out there and spoil a surprise. So take those words with a pinch of salt, because we could well see Edge on Sunday night. Online bookmakers currently favour one of two women to win the Royal Rumble. We've got Shayna Baszler, and we've got her pal, Ronda Rousey. Of course, the idea of Baszler coming up from NXT, winning the Royal Rumble and facing Becky Lynch at WrestleMania 36 is rather exciting, and it would be a pretty damn awesome match. But remember the build to Survivor Series 2018? Remember how excited we were about the prospect of Lynch versus Rousey before Nia Jax came along and smashed Becky's face in? Well, that hasn't gone away, it's still simmering away, and WWE could well put it together with Ronda winning the Rumble. Ronda remains the biggest mainstream crossover star on the WWE roster. Now, John Cena and Brock Lesnar admittedly run her very, very close, but if you're talking about putting together a big-time Raw Women's title match for WrestleMania 36, I mean, it's Lynch and Rousey. And hey, of course, much of this depends on Ronda's impregnation vacation, and how the hell that's going. But she's spoken about wanting to come back, and if she's good to go, it's a no-brainer. Anyway, friends, there you go. A bunch of men and women that I think may well just show up in their respective Royal Rumble matches this Sunday night. But what do you guys think? Let us know down in the comments section below. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications. Once you've done that, you can follow us on Twitter at WhatCultureWWE, and you can follow myself at Andy H. Murray if you want to tell me how wrong I am. Bye!